All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Tony Nguyen and I am a program analyst for the CDSS CalFresh program. I will be the moderator for today's webinar. Our topic for today is the elimination of change reporting. I'm going to go over a few webinar logistics before we get started. Our webinar today will be approximately 2 hours. This webinar will be held in listen-only mode. You may connect your audio in one of two ways, either over the telephone or through your computer. You should see this option under Audio on the webinar control panel. Please be aware that if you wish to speak and ask questions during the webinar, you must connect with a USB mic and headset or by telephone. Connecting with only headphones will not allow you to speak and ask questions. If you do not have a USB mic, you must connect by phone in order to listen and ask questions during the webinar. Keep in mind that if you are connected by phone and choose to connect via mic and speaker, you will be automatically disconnected from the telephone. If you would like to ask a question, please type your question into the question box and press send. Questions submitted via the question box will either be answered back to you electronically or the moderator will ask your question to the presenter. At the end of the presentation, we will have an opportunity for you to have a Q&A session for you to ask your question by phone or headset. To ask a question during the open session, please select the hand button, which is on the little sidebar on the left of the control panel. Please take a moment to now locate the hand button, and if you found it, please click the hand button. Perfect. I see a lot of you are able to find the hand button. Great. Now that you have raised your hand to ask a question during the Q&A time, I will unmute your line and you'll be asked to present your question. You can all put your hands down now. This webinar will be recorded. If you are not comfortable with having your voice recorded, you may opt to enter your question through the question box and it will remain anonymous. Now, I would like to turn over to Kim McCoy-Wade, our branch chief for the CalFresh program.
Good morning. This is Kim McCoy-Wade, and I'm thrilled to be with you all this morning. I'm going to make two quick comments and then turn it over to our subject matter experts. First, it's to thank the team effort that got us to this point. Not only do we have Amber Bonilla, our CDSS subject matter expert here with us, but we're also thrilled to have Dave Bedell, as many of you know, former CDSS lead on this issue, and now implementing it in the field in Placer County. But it was not just the two people whose names are on the screen. We also had great teamwork, of course, from CWDA and from our CTS, if I can just pile on the acronyms here this morning, our CTS CalFresh Technical Subcommittee, which is led by Michelle Demetrius from Santa Clara County. Thank them so much for their review and support of this effort. And as you'll see, we have presenters from two counties, Orange and Solano, also participating in this presentation. So really, that teamwork of state and county, CDSS, CWDA, is what got us here today. And then my second comment is to ask you for something in return. I would really ask that at the end of the webinar, someone on your team take a second and dash off a quick email to me or to Aaron or to both of us. We want to know how this went. We're interested in three things. We want to know what went well about this webinar as a training opportunity for you and your team. We want to know, two, what could be better. Always want to be improving how we partner and serve you all. And three, we want to know if this format does work, if this approach does work, even with some tweaks or improvements, what are possible other topics? You may have seen an expedited service ACL just came out. Many of you were asking about college students or, of course, the ABOD waiver planning. And so those are all topics that are bubbling. And if they are the kind of thing that is ripe and appropriate for a webinar, again, through a county-state partnership, we are very open to working with folks to pull that together in coming weeks and months. So with that, with the thank you and a request for feedback, I do want to turn it over to our presenters. And I believe Amber is ready to kick us off. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Elimination of Change Reporting webinar. My name is Amber Bonilla. I'm a policy analyst in the CDSS CalFresh Policy Bureau. My co-presenter today, as Kim mentioned, is Dave Badal with Placer County. As a reminder, please feel free to submit any questions as we go along in the presentation in the question box. You'll also be able to ask live questions at the end, and we'll address all questions at the end of the presentation. Thank you again for joining us, and let's get started. So a little bit of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go through the background of change reporting. We'll talk a little bit about the scope of this change and how many households this is going to affect. We'll go through our rationale, a little bit about client communication. We'll talk about caseload conversion, certification periods, and SAR 7 due dates. We'll go through some good cause examples, a few things to consider, discuss a little bit about quality control, and some next steps. So currently our change reporters are households in which at least one member is a migrant or seasonal farm worker. All members are homeless, all members reside on an Indian reservation, or all adults are elderly or disabled and have no earned income. Change reporters are required to report certain changes in their circumstances within 10 days. These changes include, but are not limited to, changes in unearned income over $50, changes in earned income over $100, changes in source of income, changes in household composition, changes in residence, and also the resulting changes in shelter costs. California transitioned from quarterly reporting to semi-annual reporting in 2013. However, change reporting status was maintained for households that were excluded from quarterly reporting. Federal regulations give states the option to eliminate change reporting as a requirement for these households. So SB 79 mandates CDSS to no longer require change reporting. California has chosen to eliminate change reporting effective no later than July 1st, 2016. For more information on the background of the elimination of change reporting in CalFresh, please see ACL 1590 and 1590E, which we have linked below. So the scope of this change: currently CalFresh serves approximately 2.1 million households, of which around 20% are change reporters. This is over 400,000 households that will be affected by this change. The rationale for the elimination of change reporting: we expect that there will be a reduction in overissuances for these households. Approximately 25% of our change reporters receive an OI at some point in the year during their certification period. And we're expecting to also see a subsequent reduction in error rate. There will be a reduced frequency of reports that would not impact household eligibility under SAR, as well as we're looking at administrative standardization. So client communication. This is a screenshot of the CF 500 informational notice that we have instructed CWDs to send out at 3 and 6 months prior to implementation. Update on this form: translations have been completed and are expected to be posted either this week or next week. Spanish forms are already available, and the rest of the translations will be available very soon. Caseload conversion. So CDSS, CWDs, and the SAWS consortia have decided to implement this change no later than July 1st, 2016. Cal-Win counties will be implementing no later than June 1st, 2016, and C4 and Leader LRS counties will implement no later than July 1st, 2016. All cases by consortia will be converted at once, and the SAR 7 deadlines will be set by the beginning date of aid, or BDA. Certification periods. Federal rules require that households be assigned the longest certification period possible based on the predictability of the household circumstances. So the chart below illustrates some recommendations as well as required certification periods. So for homeless or migrant seasonal farm worker households, we're recommending a certification period of 12 months with a SAR 7 due the 6th month. For elderly and disabled households with earned income, we're recommending a certification period of 24 months with a SAR 7 due at the 6th, 12th, and 18th month. For elderly and disabled households with no earned income, we are also recommending a certification period of 24 months with a SAR 7 due in the 12th month. Households residing on Indian reservations are required to be certified for a period of 24 months. Those with earned income will also have a SAR 7 due the 6th, 12th, and 18th month, and those with no earned income will have a SAR 7 due in the 12th month. A little bit more about SAR 7 due dates. As stated before, the SAR 7 will be sent based on the beginning date of aid. ACL 1590E provides corrected SAR 7 calendars. No SAR 7s will be due in the month of conversion for cases transitioning from change reporting to SAR, and we'll go over that a little bit more in detail. There will be no change to current change reporting to SAR conversion procedures, and let's go through a few examples. So for Calhoun counties who will convert cases on June 1st, 2016, if we have a household with a beginning date of aid of December 2015, which would be a Cycle 6 household, homeless with a 12-month certification, their submit month would be May 2016. At this time, this household will still be change reporting, so they will not be required to submit a SAR 7. Their first SAR 7 will be due May 2017, but their recertification will occur as normal in November 2016. A second example for CalWin, same household with a homeless household with a 12-month certification. This household has a beginning date of aid of January 2016, which would be Cycle 1. Their submit month is June 2016, but their data month is May 2016, and again, at this point, they are still change reporters. So their first SAR 7 will be due June 2017, and also their recertification will occur as normal in December 2016. A third example for Cowan, a household with a beginning date of aid of February 2016, a Cycle 2, household homeless with a 12-month certification period. Their submit month is July 2016, which means their data month is June 2016. At this point, they will have been converted to SAR. So they will have their first SAR 7 due in July 2016, and recertification will occur as normal in January 2017. This photo here is a screenshot of the corrected SAR 7 calendars that are available in ACL 1590E. The highlighted areas show how these examples are illustrated on the calendars. So some examples for C4. Again, C4 counties will convert cases July 1st, 2016. A household with a beginning date of aid of January 2016, Cycle 1, homeless with a 12-month certification. Their submit month is June 2016. This household will still be change reporting at this time as CalWin is not converting until July 1, so they will not be required to submit a SAR 7. Their first SAR 7 will be due June 2017, and their recertification will occur as normal in December 2016. Or I'm sorry, C4. So example 2 for a C4 county, a household with a beginning date of aid of February 2016, Cycle 2, a homeless household with a 12-month certification. Their submit month is July 2016. The data month would be June 2016, and at this point, again, they are still change reporters. So their first SAR 7 will actually be due in July 2017, and recertification will occur as normal in January 2017. Our final example for C4 County, Again, a homeless household with a 12-month certification with a beginning date of 8 of March 2016, cycle 3. Their submit month is August 2016 and data month is July 2016. At this point, they will have already been converted to semi-annual reporting. So their first SAR-7 will be due in August 2016 and recertification will occur as normal in February 2017. And again, this is a screenshot of ACL 1590E, which illustrates how these examples are shown in the SAR-7 calendars. And just to back up, leader counties would follow the same examples as C4 counties. So for good cause allows for discontinuances due to non-submission of the SAR-7 to be rescinded if the client cannot be reasonably expected to fulfill their reporting responsibilities due to factors outside of their control. So when can good cause be established in a case? The criteria are if the client has a mental or physical condition that prevents them from submitting a timely report, if the late report is attributable to a county error, or if the county finds other extenuating circumstances. So the CWDs should utilize the extenuating circumstance provision for the first 12 months subsequent to implementation for each of these affected households. So the following apply when implementing good cause. Good cause may be granted if the household submits their SAR-7 after the extended filing date, but no later than the last day of the month following the termination of the case. If the household submits a late SAR-7 after the extended filing date and after the 12-month transition period, the CWD must apply the restoration of aid rules as described in ACL 1225, which we also have linked for you there. If a household submits their SAR-7 later than the last day of the month following termination, the household must file a new application if they would like to continue to receive benefits. So we'll look at a few good cause examples.
Okay, hi, this is David Waddell from Placer County. We're going to go over a couple of examples of good cause, and again, as Amber mentioned earlier, because of this is such a dramatic transition for these 400,000 plus households, in order to try to prevent churn in these cases dropping off, CDSS made the decision to extend that good cause, the allowance for good cause for 12 months from the point of transition from change reporting to SAR. So that should allow most of these households to stay on. You know, there may be a slight delay in their benefits if they don't submit a SAR-7 because they're not used to doing so, they haven't received any of the mailers and so on, or they just don't understand the process. If they don't submit the SAR-7, don't receive any benefits, and contact the county and say, hey, what's going on? How come I didn't get my benefits this month? As Amber said earlier, there's going to be a blanket application of the extenuating circumstances exception for good cause. So this first example shows a homeless household in a C4 county that converted from change reporting to SAR effective July 1, 2016. The household in this case was initially certified in September 2015 and is due for recert in August of 2016. So the household's first SAR-7 would be due in February 2017. If you look at the charts, it'll show that. Let's say that household does not submit their SAR in March 2017 when it's due, but they do submit it after the extended filing date. So if it's due in March and the client picks up the phone and calls, say on April 2nd or 3rd, whatever their issuance date is, and says, hey, again, well, what happened to my CalFresh benefits? It'll be explained to them that this transition took place, that they went from change reporting to SAR reporting, and that'll be a good opportunity to again go over those requirements with the household. But in this case, because of the extenuating circumstances, good cause will be approved. documented in the case record, and the case would be restored back to March 1, 2017 with no break in aid. Another example, we're using the same scenario, and in this case the household submits their SAR 7 in April of 2017. In this case, the discontinuance effective at the end of February is still valid, and the household must reapply for benefits because the actual submission of the SAR 7 is beyond the month subsequent to the discontinuance, and you can only use the good cause provision in the month following discontinuance. Again, same scenario. This household is recertified as normal in August of 2016. Because no SAR 7 was due, the household submits their SAR 7 on their first SAR 7 on time. They get recertified in August of 2017, and their next SAR 7 is due in February of 2018. This is now beyond the 12-month good cause allowance period, so this household would have to reapply because they're beyond the 12 months, and the good cause provision doesn't apply after that period of time.
Okay, some things to consider. A small portion of the CalFresh caseload are currently classified as change reporters who are also receiving CalWorks. So we'll go through a couple examples of these cases as well. So if you have a 6-year-old elderly woman with a 5-year-old child, this would be an annual reporting child-only case for CalWorks. She has earned income, so it would be a 24-month certification for CalFresh and a 12-month certification for CalWorks. She will still have a SAR 7 due at 6 months. Another example of one of these households would be the same scenario, a 60-year-old elderly woman with a 5-year-old child, and also an ARCO case, but in this case she has no earned income. So this would be a 24-month certification for CalFresh and a 12-month certification for CalWorks. There would be no SAR 7 for CalWorks in this case, and she will turn in a SAS 2 Plus at 12 months for recertification. The SAS 2 Plus will count as a 12-month contact for the household that's required for CalFresh, so no SAR 7 would be required in this example. So quality control, there's no special procedures required for these cases, and there will be no hold harmless period. QC staff will continue reviewing cases using standard procedures. A few next steps, we will be providing regional sessions by request, so if you would like to have a regional training in your area, please send me an email and we can talk about getting that set up. I will provide my email address at the very end of the presentation. We will also be reaching out to counties to track the impact of this change on clients and to be collecting data on how the elimination of change reporting has affected their clients for our own best practice. So at this point, I would like to go to some of our county partners to discuss how they are handling this transition and to share some of their best practices. So if Solano is on the line, I would like to move the presentation over to you. Okay, we're still trying to track down Solano, so I would like to move to Orange instead with Estera Heiberger. Estera, I think you're on the line now. If you'd like to share some best practices from Orange County, that would be great.
Estera. Estera, are you possibly on mute, or is anyone else from Orange County on the line? She's not there. Okay, well, so much for that. I do want to point out I've had some conversations with Estera, and one of the points she made is that it's imperative that as these folks start to as these cases are converted and we notice that folks are not contacting the county to say, hey, how come I didn't get my benefits? There's been some discussion as to whether or not the cases that are discontinued because of no submission of a SAR 7, these cases that are going through this conversion, if there's some way that those can be identified and reports produced by the consortia in order for the counties to then follow up with those particular clients, because one of our biggest concerns is we don't want folks to drop off because of this change. So I don't know if there's any representatives from consortia on the line, or if that's something that's been discussed between counties and consortia, but that is something that should be explored. And Solano is on the line now. Juanita, are you there? The little list says you're there. Or anyone else from Solano? Eileen?
Hi Arlene, this is Tony from CDSS CalFresh. If you're unable to talk in the mic, you could change your audio setting to telephone and you could call in. If you go ahead and try that, I'm going to go ahead and leave your line open, and when you are ready to speak, feel free to start talking. Thank you.
One thing I'd like to point out is I know there's been some apprehension about this change and the concern that there is going to be an impact on churn and there are going to be some clients dropping off. That's probably going to happen. We've done everything we can to mitigate that and try to make sure that there's a minimum of folks who drop off by these multiple mailings that have gone out. We had encouraged CBOs to get out and do some training also. What has been found out by contacting other states that made this change, with the exception of one, it was actually fairly seamless for clients. They did have a little bit of a bump when the first SAR 7 was due, but in most cases, if the training was sufficient, if the clients were notified ahead of time, and allowing this good cause provision, the impact was actually fairly negligible on churn. Ultimately, this is a state statute, so there's no debate as to whether or not we can proceed or not, but every other state that we spoke to said that they found a reduction in their error rate, a reduction in their overissuances for their change reporters, and again found that it was a very positive change. The one state that we spoke to that had problems literally decided to eliminate change reporting and implemented it the next month. We've had over a year in California to prepare for this, so we're pretty confident that this is going to have a negligible impact on churn, and ultimately will have a positive impact on both county staff and clients, because they're not going to be compelled to report every little change that happens. They're only going to be required to report the two things that are mandated under SAR, and that should result in a significant drop in errors and overissuances.
Arlene, if you're on the line, can you go ahead and test your line to see if you're able to speak?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you perfectly clear. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, Dave and Amber, and whoever helped us. This is Juanita from Solano.
Hey, Juanita.
That was
Hi,
hard
Juanita.
work. Woo, that was work. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that in Solano, we have 2 units with that category of CalFresh participants, recipients, and there's approximately 1,500 cases in each office, and that includes the CalFresh only and CalFresh Medi-Cal combo cases. A couple of the advantages that we find is that the clients have a worker that they can actually call and talk to when they have issues. They don't have to deal with calling the service center or call center. And some folks in this population don't have the patience to go through those phone trees. So we do find that that is an advantage. And it's also easier if the clients choose to have a face-to-face interview for their recertification. Since they're not in the call center and they do have a worker, we can accommodate that a lot easier.
Yeah, and that would be a really good opportunity to discuss the change with them too, to make sure that they understand.
And I don't know if Estera joined us now, but so that's what I have from Solano. Thank you.
No, that's helpful. Thanks, Juanita.
Estera, your line is also open at the moment. If you're able to speak, please use your mic. If not, then please change to the telephone option and you can call in and you can speak on the webinar. Okay, well, if we don't have anyone else speaking from the county, should we go ahead and move on to questions?
Yeah, at this time we'd like to open it up for questions.
So Amber, I got a couple questions that came in. One of the question was, will the PowerPoint presentation be available after the webinar?
Yes, we will make the presentation available.
Perfect, thank you. The next question is, the good cause exception has been extended for 12 months past implementation. Will someone clarify whether that means that the exception ends for Calhoun counties on June 1st, 2017 and July 1st, 2017 for C4 and leader?
Well, what that means is that any SAR 7 that's due subsequent to that implementation period for that household or for that particular consortia, the good cause provisions will be allowable for that first 12-month period. So other than that, I'm not sure how else to answer that.
People who SAR is if they miss a SAR, then they have their annual and they have their first SAR is like, do they still get good cause it's their first SAR? That might be past the 12-month window.
Yeah, it would be 12 months from the point where their first SAR 7 was due.
Right, 12 months past conversion.
Right, which, yeah, exactly, which could be beyond 12 months from the CERP. Yeah, the example was given as if their first SAR 7 is due 12 or more after the conversion date. Say, if it's a Calhoun County and the first SAR 7 or the conversion takes place in June of 2016, and that household, as an example, their first SAR 7 is due in no, I can't think. Actually, I can't think of any examples in which it would go beyond the 12 months. We're looking at our little chart.
Right. The latest extensions are 7, May 2017 in Calhoun and June 2017 in C4.
Right.
After the 12 months of that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, the first SAR 7 is due. The latest SAR 7 is due in a Calhoun County for a case that's converted is going to be within the 12-month period. So essentially, it's what this is set up for is that if when that household SAR 7 is due the first time, if it doesn't come in on time, the good cause provision will be applied. You go another 6 months beyond that, you're now at, say, 18 months into conversion, 17 months into conversion, whatever it is. At that point, that household's going to have to reapply. They more or less, they get one shot at the good cause provision.
Thank you, Dave and Amber. The next question that we have that came into the question box is, if CDSS has done some outreach to any statewide organization about this significant change. I'm not sure what the significant, I guess regarding change reporting.
Can I open the line and elaborate more what they mean?
Yeah, Leo, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and open your line, and then if you could go ahead and elaborate a little bit more on your question. Just give me a moment and I'll go ahead and open your line. Go ahead, Leo. Your line's open.
Yeah. There's still time to. Oh, sorry. I didn't have my little button pushed. When we had a fairly extensive work group that came up with when this thing first came up, when this legislation was first passed, there were involvements from advocate groups in the work group, the Elimination Change Reporting work group, and there was discussion at that point of what they were going to do in terms of getting the word out. In terms of actually going out and doing outreach activities with contracted CBOs, that's still an option that's available. If there's specific organizations, Leo, or any other county that you think it would be beneficial for us to be in touch with, then please let Amber know. Or perhaps an alternative would be putting together some kind of an outreach flyer that we could get out also.
All right. The next question that we have is for good cause. We will allow good cause for the first 12 months. If SAR is submitted after submit month, will we rescind or restored?
Well, if it's within that 12-month good cause allowance period, you'll rescind the discontinuance. That's what good cause is. It's when you're restoring the case back to the beginning date of the month. The restoration waiver is something that's used to prorate benefits when someone brings in a SAR 7, say now, a regular SAR case that submits a SAR 7 late, but after the extended filing date, but say like on the 15th of the month, if a SAR 7 that's due in March is submitted on April 15th. We don't have to evaluate good cause in that case. You just simply restore the case with a break in aid effective the 15th of the month without a new application. Good cause means you go back to the first of the month and restore the benefits without any break in aid.
Thank you, Dave. The next question is, who is reviewing the counties to ensure they have complied with mailing of the notice at 3 months and 6 months?
Who is reviewing? Whose that question is coming from? Who?
This question is from Thomas Ruiz.
Thomas, I don't know that there's actually been any kind of a process put in place for reviewing that. I mean, the forms have been made available. The assumption is that the counties have sent them out as instructed. Are you asking if there'll be some kind of a notation put in the case record so that when a case review is conducted, you would review to whether or not that notice was sent?
Thomas, I'm going to go ahead and open your line in case you're able to speak on the webinar, if you'd like to clarify your question. Okay. Thomas, if you're able to just reply in the question box, if you want to have a little bit more clarification on your question, we would appreciate it. The next question is, will IRT letters be going out before conversion?
Yeah, as these cases are converted, they will be sent to SAR2 and so on with their IRTs.
Thank you. The next question is, will the elderly have a different good cause period since they have submitted SAR 7 at 6, 12, and 18 month?
No, it still would go just through the 12 months because at that point for those households, and this would apply for those residing on the reservation also, they will actually have two shots at it. They'll have the 6 and the 12-month period in which they'll have good cause applied. So they'll actually get the benefit of having to be being evaluated for good cause twice as opposed to everyone else just once.
Okay. The next question in the box is, if the first SAR 7 is due May 2017, does good cause apply through May 2018?
I'm sorry, say again, please.
If the first SAR 7 is due in May 2017, does good cause apply through May 2018?
I have to look at what it says in the letter. I can't recall exactly what not on the chart, but in the actual text. Yeah, let me just point out one thing about good cause. We have CDSS has said that they are issuing a blanket application of the good cause extenuating circumstances for 12 months. That does not prohibit counties if extenuating circumstances do exist. The counties have to evaluate good cause. So if you have a case that goes beyond the 12-month period, the CDSS has said at least apply it for that 12-month period. If you have a circumstance, however, after that 12 months and it's evaluated based on regulations and you determine that you believe good cause exists in that case, perhaps you've got it's an elderly household that really is struggling with the concept of submitting a SAR 7. There's nothing that prohibits counties from applying that at a later date. So that 12-month is a time frame that was meant to reduce churn, to make sure that counties at least apply it for that 12-month period. But as I said, on a case-to-case basis, it can be applied at any time.
Thank you, Dave. Next question. Does Solano County bank the rest of their cases and only have special units specifically for these change reporting customers?
Am I open?
You are.
Okay. It's only for the change reporting elderly disabled households, not the homeless or the Combo CalWorks homeless cases. Just ED.
Thank you, Juanita. Next question. When will the client be notified of their IRT and will it be automated?
Well, you mean automated? It should be through the issuance of the SAR 2. I guess the question I would ask is, what do you do now when a case converts from CR to SAR? It would be exactly the same. At what point that you send that SAR 2 out to that household? Currently, if someone is a homeless household that loses their homeless status and becomes a SAR household, when do you send them the SAR 2? It would be the same thing.
And the next question is a three-part question. First question is, are we able to view the notice that will be sent out to the clients? Will the notice include how to complete the SARs? And last, who has the primary responsibility for training the client on how to complete the first SAR they receive?
Well, I can answer the third part, that would be whoever is providing that information to the client now. What was the first part? Will they be able to see the actual, whatever the form? What's the form number?
CF 500.
CF 500. Yeah, it's part of this presentation, so you'll certainly be able to see that. You can see it now by looking at slide number, whatever it is, 7. And what was the second part of the question, Tony?
The second part of the question was, will the notice include how to complete SAR?
No, it does not. It doesn't contain that kind of detail.
The CF500 is also linked on the client communication page of this presentation. If you click CF500, it'll take you directly to the notice.
But the SAR, when the SAR, I guess I'm not sure, when the SAR 7 is produced, is not the SAR, there's not the, there aren't instructions that go along with it?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Yes. Well, there you go.
And you can see the CF 500 in client correspondence.
Okay. The next question is, how long will change reporting related forms remain available on the CDSS website?
Which forms are we talking about?
According to the question, they're asking regarding the change reporting related forms.
That'll always be available because they're always going to be in use. The 500 would be the exception, and I don't know. You guys can decide at CDSS how long you want to leave that available. Yeah. I mean, a couple of years after the conversion, there'd really be no reason to have it available, but you can always find it on the Google, I'm sure.
And I'm getting a couple of different questions in from Thomas, so I'll just read off a couple of his comments. Not sure if it applies to either QC or ME, just trying to determine if it's something QC and or the management evaluation team will have to verify. Verify that the notice was sent so that the clients were informed. In the event they are not informed, then they will have good cause for not reporting.
Thomas, let's take these to FAC next week. Let's take these offline.
Okay.
Good questions, but I think they'd be better addressed with the QC folks at FAC.
Okay. And we have just one more before we go ahead and open up the line for live questions. If a SAR-7 is received late without time for 10-day notice for reduction of benefits, would we still set up a OI? Does the good cause matter?
Yeah, so you're saying if the SAR-7 is received, let's say the 28th of the month, and it's got information that would impact upcoming months. Yeah, it's the same as any situation now, whereas if a SAR-7 comes in late, I mean, the inability to send a 10-day notice not in itself in simplified reporting and semi-annual reporting a reason for setting up an overissuance, but you'd have to look at these on a case-by-case basis. But it's the good cause and whether or not you take action on the information that's provided on the SAR-7, they're really not related.
Okay, so that's all the questions that we have in the question answer box. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up for live questions now. So as we did earlier, if you're interested in providing us a live question, please use the raise hand function. And a reminder, in order for you to ask a question, you have to be connected with a USB headset and mic, or call in through the telephone option. So if you have a live question, please feel free to raise your hand now, and I'll go ahead and call on you, and you could be unmuted. Okay, Maria Contreras. I'm butchering your name, I'm so sorry. So Maria Contreras, your line's open.
Hey, this is actually Scott Neri from San Bernardino.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, right now when a change reporting case goes to semi-annual reporting, we mail or we give the household a CF23 SAR, the How to Report Household Changes form. Will that be required with the transition?
Is it? I can't recall if the CF23 SAR is a required form. I think it is it not?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
That would be if it's not something that's been made clear and mandated in 1590 or 1590E, or in any other place where we talk about other cases transitioning from CR to SAR, it's certainly highly recommended. So yeah, that's a good point to bring up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. The next question is from Rubina Jerami. Your line's open now. Rubina, your line is open. Okay. If you have a question, Rubina, and you're unable to ask on the live call, feel free to go ahead and type it into the question box. Next, we have Say Yang. Say Yang, your line's open.
Yeah, give us a minute.
Hi. I have a question regarding ARCO. When I was reviewing your slide, I kind of came across, it didn't mention anything about SAR-7, or at least I didn't read it fast enough. So I just wanted to know, do the individuals have to submit a SAR-7 as the 6-month, 12-month, 18-month, as where the 24-month certification for CalFresh cases do?
Yes, that was mentioned, and apologize if we went over that.
Okay, so just, it was, okay, so they will continue. But is there another question you'd like to ask? Okay, that'll be it. Thank you. No?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you go back and look at the presentation, and as Amber said, this will be made available to all the participants. You'll see that slide, and it explains the SAR-7 dates for those different kinds of households.
Okay. If we have any more questions for the live question, we just have one more in the question answer box. So this is your opportunity to ask a question. Rubina, I see that you're raising your hand again, so I'm going to unmute you in case if you're available. Rubina? Nope. Okay. Say Yang, I see you raising your hand again.
Yes, this is for Say Yangs. On that ARCO where they're doing the SAR-7 at 6, 12, and 18 months, since they have their CalWorks recertification that they're doing for the 12 months, they're going to do both the application for the CalWorks plus a SAR-7 for the CalFresh?
No, I believe that the change reporting, the CalWorks renewal acts as the 12-month contact, so there won't be a SAR-7 required for those cases. That's listed on slide 26. So the SARS-2 plus, excuse me, will count as that 12-month contact.
Say Yang, do you have any additional question before I close your line?
No, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we do have another question that came in through the question box. Do they remain CR until their first SAR or recertification is due, and then get a SAR-2, or will a SAR-2 be mailed approximately 6/15 be effective for July 2015 for C4 counties?
Is there anybody from C4 on the line? From the consortia? Again, it would be the same as it is now. Take away this transition, this mass conversion from CR to SAR. How would you handle this today if you had a case transitioning from change reporting to simplified reporting? You should follow the exact same procedures.
Okay, and the last question we have, Dave, is does change reporting going away affect combo CW and CF cases for this change is exclusively for CalFresh cases?
Well, it's for all CalFresh cases. So yeah, there's a very small number of change reporting cases that are CalWorks cases. Some of those could be homeless and so on. So the impact is essentially the same as on everyone else, that if they become a simplified reporting household, they're going to have their SAR 7s due at the appointed times as listed in the charts.
Okay, looks like C4 is on the line, so Tony, if you could unmute them. Okay, Duke, I think you're available to talk.
This is Tyler Vice here at C4. I know you had a question for us. If you could repeat that, we were going to try and get an answer for you.
Okay, that question was. Okay. Says the question is, do they, I assume that means impacted households, remain change reporting until their first SAR or RE is due and then get a SAR 2, or will a SAR 2 be mailed approximately 6 of June of 15 to be effective July of 15? I can answer the first part. They remain change reporting until the data conversion. At the point that a household in a C4 county,
I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to push my button apparently. I can answer the first part of that question, is that a household that is in a C4 county that is a change reporter will remain a change reporter until June 30th. As of July 1, they become a SAR reporter. So at that point, they should have been notified of their IRT. They are required at that point to report if their income goes over their IRT, if they have one, or if their ABOD work hours change, when we do ABOD. So the actual change is effective the first of the month, if based on the consortium. The Cowwin counties, those folks remain change reporters until May 31st, and as of June 1, they become SAR reporters. So I would, Tyler, I don't know if you folks have addressed this, or if the folks from Cowwin or LRS have addressed this, but when do you anticipate sending the SAR 2 or the CF23 SAR to let these folks know what their IRT is?
Here, David, this is Tyler again, SB4. Here at the project, as soon as they're converted, that'll trigger the SAR 2 to be sent out. So that'll be happening shortly after the 1st of July.
Okay. I assume the same would hold for Cowwin. I don't know if there's anybody from Cowwin on the line.
Correction, when we convert them in June, it'll be sent out.
Right.
Sorry about that. Effective for July.
Perfect. That gives them, so as of July 1, they will theoretically know what their reporting responsibilities are.
Correct.
Another question is asking, is the CF500 going to be sent automatically, or will C4 send it? I know that Cowwin is sending it out, excuse me, for the Cowwin counties. I assume the same holds for the other consortia. I don't know, Tyler, if you can speak to that.
Yes. One was sent in December, and the second notice was sent in March, so March 10th, about 5 days ago.
So it is, but they are being sent automatically. Yeah, they are being sent automatically by the consortium. Great.
Yes, they are.
Okay, we just have another question from Andrea Saldana. Andrea, your phone line is open. Andrea, if you want to ask a question, feel free to ask it through the question box. If not, try to connect with the phone or with a USB mic. Thank you. At this moment in time, are there any additional questions that you would like our presenters to answer today? The question can either come in live by raising your hand, or you could go ahead and send it through the question box. Look like Andrea sent us her question. The question is, the CF23 SAR, is it required to be sent at conversion?
Again, I would default back to response I gave earlier, excuse me, at what point do you send it now when a household converts from change reporting to SAR? I think it should be sent at conversion. It should be sent in whatever packet it goes out to the household to let them know that they've gone through this change. I guess I can again defer to someone from the consortia, Tyler, or somebody from CalWin or Leader, if you can answer that question as to the CF23.
This is Tyler from C4. It will be sent out.
Great,
with
thank
the
you.
start, same time it'll be sent out.
Perfect.
Okay, so the next question is.
The next question is for elderly disabled households. Can we apply good cause every time they submit a SAR 7 during the first 12 months, or can it apply only once? No, it can. This is from Rubina. It can be applied each time up to the 12 months. And again, as I spoke earlier, as I mentioned earlier, the good cause provision it's not only in existence during this 12-month period. It can be applied later depending on the household specific circumstances. And the next question is, again, I guess I'd ask Tyler to respond to this. When will the CF23 be sent out by C4?
The CF23 will be sent out alongside the SAR2. So once the IRT changes.
And so that'll be sometime middle of June, I assume?
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you. Next question is, when cases are converted from change reporting to SAR, is it a requirement to send the SAR AR2 or is it a recommendation? I don't recall what it says in the ACL. If it's not mentioned as a mandate, it probably should be, because otherwise how is the household going to know what their IRT is if you don't tell them? And Rubina also asked if we can, if this presentation will be emailed to the participants, and the answer is yes, it will be sent out after the presentation. And posted on the CDSS extranet. And there will be, we, CDSS, they, will do their best to address these questions that have been submitted and have them answered on the extranet also.
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. So it looks like we are out of questions. So I would do one last call for questions, and we'll go ahead and move on from the question and start closing out the webinar. Looks like we have one last question, so we'll take this last one. So the question is, will this change eliminate the 2-month certification period for postponed verification for ES?
No. You still have to examine cases based on their circumstances. The what it says, I believe, is that CDSS recommends that counties use the longest certification period possible based on the household circumstances. If you've got a situation where you have a 2-month cert where you're waiting for postponed verification for ES, this wouldn't impact that.
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. So thank you everyone for your questions. As we mentioned, we'll provide a presentation after the webinar, and we'll also be capturing all of the questions that have been coming in through the question box, and also capturing the live question as well in a FAQ. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Amber now, and she's going to go ahead and close out the session today. Thank you.
Okay, here we've provided a list of references. For everyone, all of these citations are embedded throughout the slides, but I wanted to have them available in like a quick cheat sheet if you need to refer back to anything. So at this point, I want to thank everyone so much for their time and patience and attention in this webinar. If there are any questions that come up or if anyone would like to discuss regional sessions, my contact information is listed on this slide. So thank you very much, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.
Thank you.
So they'll come out and do a regional thing?
Mm-hmm.
Do they normally offer that?